What's up, fellow music and rock and roll enthusiasts? I'm calling on my cassette people today, honestly, especially the longtime cassette collectors. Maybe some of you guys know, or if anyone's stumbling across my channel for the first time, if you're into this kind of thing, feel free to stay tuned in for a few minutes with me and maybe leave a comment, or maybe you have some questions too about the subject. First thing I want to say is, and probably by the title of the video, you guys already figured out where I'm going with this. What do all these cassettes have in common? Other than the fact that they're all classic rock. That's the obvious one, but other than that, think about it for a second. They are all distributed by Columbia Records. Although some of them are on Epic, and one of them is on A&M Records, but you can't see the A&M one because the price tag is over the record label, but we'll get to that. Basically, for some reason, and I don't know if it just was progression over time, kind of like how the MCA cassettes had a sticker first, and I still to this day never got a solid answer on whether the blue ink was first or the black ink. Now, this is such a petty subject, I know, but to me, I'm just fascinated by it, though, at the same time, like intrigued in a way, because these all do the same thing. They had no reason to change the design of the tapes. For some reason, they did. And after I'm done the main thing, there's two other variations as well that I gotta go over. Maybe I'll stop it, and depending on, I don't want to run on too long with the subjects, but we'll get started here. I was gonna start with the newest ones first, but I'm gonna get right to the point and go with what I think is the more interesting ones first. Not the most common. These are pretty uncommon, actually. We're just going to take an old pressing of Bruce Springsteen's second album. I think it's the second, I'm pretty sure. The Wild, the Innocent, and E Street Shuffle. It yielded one hit on it. Notice this case is smooth, solid on the back. Take a look at the tape. First thing you're going to notice is it has like a design on it's a little bit textured. You see that? It's not the usual one. And it's got this round circle indentation in the middle. And this one's pretty sentimental because it's my best friend that I grew up with, his mom's tape. J for Janice. But yeah, it's in the middle. It's got that little round indent. Now, you wouldn't think nothing of it. But take a look at the pressure pad. Now, this pressure pad on this one's a little bit, I don't want to touch the tape with my hands, but it's a little bit beat up, if you will. If I get it with, we're out of focus. Touch it with this, that way the oils from my hands won't get on it. I'm not going to push down on the pad, but I am going to, just to give you an idea. The pad's not even up against the tape no more. So that one disintegrates like an 8-track, which is pretty ironic because in the 8-track world, the Columbia tapes are actually the best and hold up the best. So I want to know when these are from exactly, these pressings. Now, I have a copy of Nazareth, Close Enough for Rock and Roll, which is on A&M Records. But again, it's distributed by Columbia Records, and it has that fancy texture, like so, along the side. And this pressure pad is actually perfect, so I'm not even going to mess with this one at all. I don't know if it's real spongy and bounces back right back exactly as it's supposed to, but I know this tape plays well on my machine, and it actually sounds good. Born Under the Wrong Sign is a freaking straight up jam, if anyone hasn't heard it. I'm sure some of you have. But yeah, so again, A&M Records, however, is distributed by Columbia Records, obviously. Now, that being said, Columbia is not the only ones that use these pressure pads. Some of the old Memorex blanks used them. I've seen them on, and I've also seen these on Scotch. Some of the Scotch tapes have them. And I've also seen them on Mercury. Although, however, with Mercury, and I mean, usually mostly Def Leppard, Kiss, Scorpions. However, the ones on the Mercury tapes are actually too good. They're real strong, just like the ones on the 8-tracks for Columbia Records. Look at it, it's hard to push it in, and it bounces right back up. And some of the cassette decks, actually most of the cassette decks I try to play these in won't even play them. Because they're that strong, they push up, it actually lags the tape. And the capstan has a hard time pulling it. So it'll usually play slow, or it'll be real warbly. And like I said, there's no resistance in the tape. It's very, you know, flows very freely. It's just that the pressure from that pressure pad pushes it up that hard against the head because it's that freaking strong. Anyway, again, that's not Columbia. I just felt like showing that just to prove a point. Secondly, which I believe are the second oldest, I believe that these would be after this. Now, correct me, because I could be totally wrong. I'm going off of a theory here. Again, take a look at the back of it. It's got that texture. Bruce Springsteen, The River. Now look at this. The texture's similar but different. It's a lot bigger, more obvious. Made in the USA at the top left-hand corner. On side A. Side B or side 2 doesn't have the Made in the USA, but we're looking at a regular felt pad. Superior. Although the foam pads are cool looking, these are definitely the way to go. And I don't think anyone would really argue with that. Other than the adhesive breaking off, and you have to glue them back on every now and again. But they're 40. Most of these cassette tapes are going on 40 years old. So I'm thinking these are early 80s, these ones. Early to mid 80s. Because I've seen albums up to 1986 that had this texture on there. Next, we're going to the late, great Meatloaf. Again, Epic Records, but understand that the tape itself distributed by Columbia. Notice the similarities, and notice the texture is the same. Made in the USA, top left on side 1. No indication of where it was made on side 2. Instead of the Columbia logo, it has the Epic logo. And again, felt pad. Tape plays really good, by the way. I'm thinking these might be like late 70s, early 80s, up to the mid 80s. Next, we're going into the one that I find to be the most common. And again, Cheap Trick is on Epic Records. It has this, not as textured, but still a textured, nonetheless, case on the back with CBS on it. These are the most common of the Columbia cassettes, as far as I can tell, and what I've noticed. But again, Made in the USA is now on the top right-hand corner of side 1. And side 2 is still unmarked. And we have a regular felt pad on it. This tape has a clear leader. Some of them have blue, some are pink. I haven't really found anything really with that to tie that to a time frame. But I find it hard to believe that they'd be making all of these cassette shells at the same time. So what I'm trying to figure out is chronological order here. Again, this one here, it's somewhat textured, has CBS on the back. Same texture as that. So this one actually on side 2, it has Made in the USA at the top right. Not on side 1. But again, that could just depend on, maybe this is a maybe they pressed the wrong side by accident, or maybe it didn't matter. Maybe it's just coincidence they all happen to be on side 1, and it's just the luck of the draw, what one got printed on side 1 or not. Well, again, this one has a pink leader, but regular felt pad. And also, we're going to get into one next where the window is a little bit different. You're not really going to notice unless you have OCD and are really into it like I am. Now look at this one. Same back as this, but if you look, they no longer have CBS written on here, so that's a sign of a cost-cutting measure. So I'm thinking these were late 80s, mid to late 80s, and these were probably around the same time, but maybe ran simultaneously with the ones I showed previously. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Smooth right here. Has that generic texture right here. If you look at the window, it's a clear plastic piece, not a hard plastic piece. It does say made in the USA on side 2. Not on side 1. And like I said, these albums, I've seen them all in different shells, so it's not like every Stranger is like this. I've seen the Stranger in every single one of these shells except for the early ones, like the Nazareth and the Springsteen one I showed you. I wish this camera would stay in focus. Boston, Don't Look Back. And again, same thing. Has this texture back, but right there you can see the circle, but it doesn't say CBS. Same thing, smooth. Plastic window. Regular spring, clear leader. There's no major difference there. You know, Epic logo instead of Columbia. Still has that little, I still never figured out to this day what that means. The CDs have them too. Or some CBS trademark logo of some kind. Now we're getting into the like 1989 and or like late 80s and early 90s. This I figured out on my own because I remember these cassettes when they were new because I was born in 1990. Most of the ones growing up I had. Now obviously this Nylon Curtain is not the original press. It's smooth. Got the plain textured part by the tape path. Just like the tan ones. Felt tip pressure pad. These ones are pressure pads on these don't the felts don't break off of these ones though. They're put on a lot. I think they're crimped from the side a little bit. Yeah, these are more boring, the clear ones, I think. But the sound quality on these ones is usually significantly better. And same goes for these ones. The sound quality on these is usually pretty damn good, I find. So that leads me to believe also that they were using better tape and that they were later releases. And Stormfront, of course, is 1989 album. But again, same thing. And these still have the made in the USA. I know some of them are on the right-hand side, so I think that's on side 2. So I really do believe that these are just simply from different time frames. So yeah, this is 1989. So, and these also later ones also I find have this goofy freaking. I don't like these. I think they're dumb. But when it's not really a J case anymore. It's a U case technically, and it comes up past the plastic ledge. But hey, you know what? Can't be too picky. It's all about the music at the end of the day, right? So yeah, that's what I'm getting at with these Columbia tapes. Now, I'm gonna stop you for a second. I'm gonna go grab 2. We didn't go on as long as I thought, which is good. And because we're getting as to the point as I can on the subject, and I really hope some of you guys can freaking give some input here. Like I said, I think I'm just being nitpicky, but I just genuinely want to know. Like, I'm curious. It's been boggling my mind for years. And what better place to get this information but the internet from people who were around during these eras, maybe bought some of these tapes brand new and remember them as they were coming out. So I'm going to grab the 2 other variations that I know of, and I'm sure there's more, but just the ones that I know of off the top of my head. One of them's really rare. I only ever seen it a couple times, but anyway, I'll be right back with you. All right, I'm back. I found what I'm looking for. This one here, I have like 8 copies of Glass Houses on cassette. Like I said, I'm a Billy Joel fanatic. Anytime I find a different variation, I don't have. This one here is pretty. Doesn't really have much of a texture at all. It has a little bit of a design, but it goes throughout the whole thing. Nothing major to see here. I actually have to get a pressure pad or felt pad for this one to put on it. I'm actually going to do that now while I have it out because I have all the pieces I need to do it sitting right at my right here. So it's all at my convenience. This is a rare one right here. I've only ever seen this a couple times. Now, this one might have coexisted. I don't know. Like I said, another possibility is that some of these were around the same time, but maybe they were pressed at different plants, and this could depend on where they were pressed. But this one here, it's relatively generic. It has made in the USA on side 1, but in the dead center. yeah, with this indent here, like I said, I've only ever seen that a couple times. It doesn't really tell me where it was pressed at, so I really don't know. Maybe one of you guys do. And we're going to show, these are both the same album. We're going to show the US version. I had never actually played this album since I was a kid. My dad had it. That felt actually needs to be glued back on. I remember my dad had it. I remember listening to it when I was a kid, but I really don't remember much about what it sounds like. But the reason I'm showing that is because I have this too. Now this is just, all this is a Canadian version. But the Canadian Columbias are pretty cool. And a lot of them are CRO too. They're gold writing, but they have the freaking, around the wheels, the reels here, it's got like it looks like an RCA cart. So I wonder if RCA didn't make the cassette casings for Columbia in Canada. It's actually, most of these actually sound pretty good too. So yeah, that concludes today's video. If I bored you, I apologize. But like I said, this is something I've been wondering about for a long time. And I know, especially with the resurgence of analog medium, especially cassettes, and even the 8-tracks are, surprisingly enough, are gathering some interest, you know, on the web, and prices on eBay reflect that. Everything's going up. It's freaking crazy. But hopefully some of the people who've been doing this for a long time will be able to chime in and let me know what they think on the subject, because like I said, I am genuinely curious. Like I said, hopefully I didn't bore too many of this, and hopefully at least one is, maybe some of you have, you know, maybe some of you guys are curious about this too, or have been wondering. But yeah, any information you guys have, please feel free to drop it in on the comment box and let me know. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.